this back and forth thing, it's just not credible. Because, you know, the president said, I'm shutting down the government. I'll own the shutdown. I'm proud to carry the mantle. And he shut the government down. And that's that.
Well, I mean, it takes two to tango.
There's no tango here. The president said, I'm shutting the government down.
He said he would shut the government down unless they gave him funding for the wall, and they refused to give him funding for the wall. I mean, they're both sides are party to this. What distresses me to see, and I thought John Roberts was exactly right, Shep, when he called it tangential. We're in an argument about whether the president's going to get to make a speech, the State of the Union speech, whether Nancy Pelosi is going to get to go to Afghanistan. None of this solves the really key issue, which is to reopen the government, get a compromise on border security and immigration, and there's obviously a deal in which both sides are going to have to compromise, and they're talking past each other. So, frankly, it wouldn't matter whether Nancy Pelosi was in Afghanistan or down the street, because at this point, they're not talking to each other anyway.
The president ran in the midterms and campaigned for people in the midterms on you got to vote for Republicans because the Democrats aren't going to give us a wall. And the Democrats ran in the midterm elections in 2018 saying, we're not giving him a wall. They won 40 seats plus in the House of Representatives, and they're not giving him a wall, and everybody wants to play this as a two sides speaking past each other. The ones who control the purse strings said no. The president said, come on. They said no, and he closed down the government. That's what happened. And he can reopen it tomorrow just like he closed it down. It's all on him, isn't it?
Well, he got elected too, and he has a point of view, and the fact is that at this point, a bill that would reopen the government without some funding for the wall wouldn't get through the Senate, and if it did, the president would veto it. I mean, just as a practical matter, there are 3 steps. It has to get through the House of Representatives, which is controlled by the Democrats, has to get through the Senate, which is controlled by Republicans, and has to get to a Republican-elected president, and they've got to come together to compromise, and each side is going to have to give, and they refuse to give.
What do you think of the BuzzFeed report? I saw you this morning on with Bill and Sandra.
Right.
Some time has passed by then. Often, Chris, when there are these big blockbusters, somebody gets it, and then another somebody will back it up and confirm the reporting. There's been no confirmation reporting yet.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the right point at this point.
Yeah.
That you know, BuzzFeed is out there with the story. BuzzFeed is not the most reliable, respected, trustworthy, editorial sound media outlet, you know, in this new world of internet and blogs and websites and all of that stuff. Let 1,000 flowers bloom, but some of the flowers are stronger and have been around longer than others. And it is noteworthy, as you say, this came out very early today, maybe it was even late last night, and nobody has matched the story. That is significant, because oftentimes when one of these stories breaks, people who cover justice, cover law enforcement are able to go and say, well, it's already out there, can we match it? And nobody has matched it. It may be true, it may not be true, but the silence from every other media source out there, and I know with Fox News we're trying to match it, is deafening at this point.
Subornation of perjury, that, if true, it's hard to see how things would continue as they are.
No, I completely agree with that. It's subornation of perjury, as I said earlier today, is the kind of thing you get impeached over. But you know, before we get too far down that line, you got to know whether the story's true. And other than BuzzFeed, they're out there all alone at this moment. So you know, you do have to make that the first thing. Is it true? And then what are the consequences if it's true? Yep,
that's what we did. Any big plans for the weekend? It's going to be cold, Chris. I'm coming down there for an event.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Will you stay away from me?
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. So, yes, we'll be doing, unless you want to show up and be in the audience for Fox News Sunday, we know we're going to have Congressman Jim Clyburn, the number 3 Democrat in the House, and he will talk about the shutdown and the new allegations against the president. Maybe by then we'll know whether or not they're actually true. We'll also talk about Stephen King. We'll talk about Martin Luther King's birthday. I was thinking whether I was going to say this or not, but yeah, I think I will say it. Maybe the communication shop of the White House is shut down because we've been trying all week to get them to give us somebody to talk about the shut down and all of these allegations from their point of view. And as we sit here at 3:14 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got crickets from the White House. So maybe there are non-essential employees.
Wow, we got a lot of cell phone numbers over there. Maybe send off a firm text to somebody.
Well, I have sent firm text today and made phone calls, and nobody's returning them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm in a bad mood.
Well, maybe it is. It's Friday, though, which is great for me, but it just means 2 more days of work for you.
I was going to say, it's Wednesday for me, but that's okay.
It's going to be
all right.
4 degrees here on Monday night. Really cold Sunday night, too.
Well, listen, how about Kansas City for the game against the Patriots?
That's one for the television. I couldn't be there. You know, it's just it's too cold for football. It feels like minus 30 or something.
Wait a minute. Shep, there's nothing that's too cold for football.
I'd go. Bye-bye.